all this thing. Okay, so coming to the our topic, the ADAM analysis data model, which contains, okay, now obviously these based on the statistical procedure we are going to create the TLFs. Okay, so which is the reports. Okay, TLFs. What is TLFs? Can anyone?
Table listings.
Okay, and figures. Okay, so table listings and figures. Okay, in the clinical trial, obviously we supposed to create the tables, listings and figures. Okay, so these how we are going to create based on the SAP. Okay, the statistical analysis plan. What they mentioned for that, they will create the shells, the TLF shells. We can call it as a TLF shells. Okay, that based on the TLF shells, we are going to create the TLF shell by using the ADAM data sets. Okay, it means, okay, by using the ADAM data sets, we are going to create the TLFs. Okay, so now how we are going to create the ADAM data set? For the ADAM data set, we are going to use the SDTM as a input. For example, from the raw data, so from raw data to what we did, SDTM. So from SDTM to ADAM, from ADAM to TLFs. Okay, so from TLFs to CSR report. Okay, so the CSR is nothing but the clinical study report. Okay, the clinical study report which is created by the epidemiologist, motion to the doctors and all these things they'll involved. Okay, so based on this one, the TLFs, based on the result, they will create the summary report of that, the clinical study report. Okay, so that is going to submit it to the FDS. Okay, anyway, so this is the simple basic flow diagram of the clinical trial, from the raw data to SDTM, SDTM to ADAM to TLFs, TLFs to the CSR. Okay, as a programmer, we will involve in these steps. Okay, so here until these three. Okay, so now based on the TLFs, based on the tables listing figure outcomes. So what all are the things which you required? What all are the parameters you are going to use in the TLFs? Okay, based on that, we are going to create a analysis data set. So based on this requirement, we will create the analysis data sets by using the SDTM data sets. Okay, so is that clear so far? అర్థమైంది అందరికి ఏమైనా క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉన్నాయా? హలో, why everyone is keep quiet? You should say something, right? Yes or no? Hello?
Got it, sir. Sir, can you once tell what is CSR?
The clinical study report.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. CSR is nothing but clinical study report. Okay. Okay. So now we'll discuss about that. Okay, ADAM. Okay, in SDTM level, we have discussed the basics. The first we discussed, okay, the variable classification. Did you remember the variable classification? What all are the classification we have available?
Identify variable.
Before that, what is the main two things of the classification? Based on what? This classification based on what? Which classifications? Identifiers, topic, timing, what is that? Which classification is that? Based on? Is it role or is it core? Hello?
Core, sir.
Core is, I think core is this required, expected, permissible is core. Based on role, there is a classification, right?
Yes, sir.
So the based on the role, okay, topic, timing, identifier, qualifiers, those are the variables. Again, the qualifiers reclassified into 5 more types. You already know. So then based on the core, we have the required, expected, permissible. So these classification each and every one know, we have discussed many times. Okay. So likewise in Adam also we have a one classification. Okay. The variable level. So this is again required, expected, permitted. It's not permissible, it's a permitted. Okay. So again this is also the required, expected and the permitted. So the definition is same. Nothing will change. The only one word will change, the permitted. Instead of permissible, it's a permitted. Okay. So the required is obviously a variable should be present. It should not contain a missing values. Expected is again the variable should be present. It can allow the missing values. The permitted is the based on the study specific. Okay. Fine. So when it comes to the SDTM, you already know that which all are the domains you have in that particular domain. The variable is fixed. Yes or no, right? So as per SDTM IHG, the variable is fixed. Okay, based on that, okay, the data is going to map in the particular domain. We have to map that particular variables only. If something is required for your answers which is not fit into your parental domain, what we are going to do? We are going to create a supplementary domain. When it comes to the Adam, okay, so even though we follow the Adam IG rules, but there will be some deviation. We can create our own variables. What is the requirement based on the study? Okay, so there they will give us some sort of assumptions. Okay, there based on that we can create the variables. So how we can create those, everything we'll discuss in the one by one domain. There's a later, but you should remember this. Okay. So next, when it comes to the Adam classification, okay. So here the Adam classification, okay. So here we can say that the three type of classification here, okay. So the one is that the subject level. This is the subject level data set, which is nothing but we can call it as ADSL. Okay. The next is that BDS. Okay. The BDS is called for basic data structure. Okay. So the next is that OCCDS. Okay. So this occurrence data structure. Okay. So these are the three classifications we have in Adam level. The domain classification, what I am talking about is that the domain level classification. Okay. So the one is the subject level data set, which is nothing but the ADSL, the BDS, basic data structure, and then OCCDS, occurrence data structure. Okay. This is some people will call, sometimes we can called as non-BDS. Okay. So non-BDS. Okay. OCCDS or non-BDS, but most of the cases it would be the right term. You should use the occurrence data structure, OCCDS. Okay. So the basically now in SDTM you already know the classification, the special purpose and the events, interventions, and then what else? Findings and the finding about, and then supplementary qualifiers, rel-rec, and then all these things you already know. So when it comes to the Adam, we have only these three classifications. Okay. So remember, when it comes to the from SDTM to Adam, so from the some information, for example, the multiple SDTM data set can go into the one Adam data set, or the one SDTM data set will go into the multiple Adam data set based on the importance of the requirement of your particular data points. Okay. So we'll discuss one by one. For example, the subject level is that the ADSL. So if I want to give this BDS, the BDS will comes the all finding and the intervention domains. from the SDTM, all the finding domains, all the intervention domains will come to here. But not all interventions, some will go to here. I will let you know that. For example, remember in Adam level, the data set name starts with AD. The prefix would be AD. For example, all the finding like ADLB, okay, ADVS, ADEG, okay, ADEX, AD, what about intervention? Okay, ADSU, whatever. Okay, you can name it. That will go to the BDS. Okay, so if you can see the from SDTM, this is LB domain. When it comes to the Adam, it's a ADLB. In SDTM, it's a vital sense VS domain. When it comes to the Adam, ADVS. In the SDTM, it is a EG. Okay, ECG domain. When it comes to the Adam, ADEG. So in SDTM, it's a EX exposure domain. When it comes to the Adam, ADEX. In the SDTM, it's a substance use SU. When it comes to the ADSU. So likewise, there are many data sets which we can create based on the study requirement, based on the data point which is captured in the your SDTM in the way back to your raw data sets. So when it comes to the occurrence data structure, we have only 3 domains. Can anyone explain? The name itself is saying that occurrence. Look, occurrence is nothing but based on the actual. It is something which we cannot plan. If it is happened, then we can capture the data. What those data points can anyone guess in the clinical trial?
Adverse events.
That's correct. AD, AE. And what else?
Unlimited muscle.
Very good. ADCM. And what else?
Death details means
Death details will be the finding domain, DD. Okay, that will go to here, BDS. Okay. And there is one more data set. Okay, so it's a ADMH. Okay, medical history from SDTM. Okay, so these 3 domains, the adverse event and concomitant medication and the medical history, this which we cannot plan in any study. If it is happened, then the data is going to enter. For example, one subject is there, that particular subject, nothing happened throughout the study. There is no one adverse event is reported. Obviously, there is no record in AE. Obviously, there is no record in CM. Right? In the previous medical history also nothing. Then these 3 data sets will not have any record for the particular subject. Why? Because it is occurrence based. For example, any subject is got the headache. Okay, it's adverse event. That record come into the AE. So there he will got the one record in ADA. So obviously for that particular adverse event, the headache, he took some concomitant medication. Then one more record comes from here. So that subject, when the point of enrolling in the study, he might have the previous medical history. For example, couple of years back he has some migraine. Couple of years back he might have the diabetic. A couple of years back he met with an accident. There has been a surgery. So whatever the mean, the previous medical history, any kind of medical history which before he enroll into the study, that they can say that, so that will come into the medical history. So if he has the same medical history, that will come to. So these 3 which we planned anything? No, right? It's based on the actual thing. So that's why we can say that it based on the occurrence. Okay, that's why we called it as a occurrence data structure. So this is a straightforward ADS subject level. Okay, in SDTM level, this is the kind of demographic domain. But only the demographic information we cannot fit into ADSL. ADSL is the vast of variables we can accommodate, which is the key data set for any analysis point of. Okay. So in SDTM level, the demographics like this, we can say in the Adam level, it's a ADSL. But however, along with that, only demographic variables which we cannot accommodate into the ADS level, there will be 6-7 type of information we can accommodate into the ADSL. So that we can discuss in detail with the one by one. Okay. So these are the Adam dataset classification. Is that clear for everyone? You have any questions?
Clear.
Okay, so if this is clear, okay, then we'll go by the one by one data set, okay, like the ADSL we can discuss theoretically. Later we'll move to the programming part, okay. So the first we'll discuss the theoretically ADSL. So let me find the slide deck, I think. Okay. Are you able to see my slide deck?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So now we will discuss in detail about ADSL. What is ADSL? Okay. So what kind of information we can going to accommodate in the ADAM level. So what we said that the subject level data set. ADSL is nothing but the subject level data set. Okay. When it comes to the SDTM level, the demographic DM domain, which we can call it as a subject level. But thereinto we'll have only the particular some kind of information. So in SDTM DM domain, what kind of information we will have? In DM, what kind of information will present in DM? No one knows?
Sir, repeat again, sir.
So what I'm asking, in SDTM demographic, DM domain, what kind of information, what are the data points which we can map into the DM domain?
Sir, we can get the age.
Okay.
About the subject identity, sir.
Okay.
Subject details.
Ethnicity, treatment started, treatment ended.
If you remember the variables, you can easily
Six, A6, RMCD, ARM, HectorMCD, Hector.
So the basically in subject level data sets, okay, in the demographic DM, so what kind of info? Obviously subject identifiers means study ID, subject ID, use subject ID, okay, and after that the demographic, what we can call it as a, okay, sex, age, race, ethnicity. Okay. Apart from this, the treatment information. Okay. Treatment start date and end dates. Okay. And the last point of contact date when the subject is signed informed consent. Okay. Along with the treatment information, what kind of treatment he or she took that. Okay. Arm CD, actual arm CD. If the subject is died, then death is related. Okay. Death flag and death DTC. So in the demographic collection day, that's it. Apart from this, is there an information? We covered everything, right? So you should remember each and every domain like this, okay? Then only you can easily able to answer the interior question. So otherwise it would be really difficult for you people. I'm keep on saying that, okay, this kind of efficiency not at all sufficient for the interview. I'm clearly saying that, okay? So please do hard work and then read it and then come up with the questions and if you're not clear, okay? Anyway, so when it comes to the ADSL, so what kind of information, what is ADSL, we'll discuss in detail, okay? So we'll move to the next slide. Okay, so what is the purpose of ADSL? Why is it required for each and every clinical trial? What is ADSL, okay? So, and then identifiers and the demographic variables. Okay, in ADSL, what kind of information we can map it? Those we can take we can discuss the one by one. So the identifiers and then demographic information, demographic variables. Okay, which is nothing but it is coming from the demographic domain from the SDTM. Okay, identifier means already we discussed the study ID, domain, use subject ID, and all these things. So and then demographical information means age, sex, race, ethnicity, these kind of information. The population flag. So there will be in the clinical trial a number of populations will be there based on the study requirement which we are going to create. Okay, I can give some example like so the completion flag, safety flag, full analysis flag, randomization flag, enrolled flag, the intent to treat population flag, per protocol flag. These are the some flags. So these are the most commonly created flags in your ADSL. Okay, so what is those individual flags and what is the definition of the flag, each and everything. So these are the most important things in ADSL related. You will have definitely 2-3 questions in any interview. I'm saying that compulsory they'll ask. Okay, and then treatment variables. So what kind of treatment variable? When it comes to the SDTM, what I said, the demographics, the treatment start date, end date. So RFST DTC, RFXST DTC, RFSEN DTC, RFXEN DTC. So these are the treatment related, the protocol specified as well as the first dose of drug administration of the or minimum of the randomization. So these are you already know. But when it comes to the ADAM, how the treatment variables is going to populate. So that we will discuss in the timing variable, okay, and the disposition variables. Disposition variable is nothing but what I said, the subject is continue with the study and the subject disposition from the study, or the subject withdraws informed consent, subject can complete the study. So whatever the disposition related information which we can map, also take it into the ADSL. And then what is the conclusion? So these we'll discuss one by one in ADSL, okay. The first of all, what is the purpose of the ADSL? Okay, so the purpose of ADSL is that ADSL contains all subject level information needed for the study in a single place. Okay, so what I said, all the subject level information. Remember, subject level information is not only demographics. There might be a treatment information, there might be a flagging information, there might be a disposition related information. These are the subject level information, right? The particular subject, when it is disposed, that particular related information. The subject is safety flag or yes or no. There is a subject specific information. So the basically ADSL contains all the subject level information in one place. Okay, this is nothing but ADSL. Okay. It contains the pertinent subject level information. Okay, it contains the pertinent subject information, pertinent subject information. So the basically what I said, okay, in ADAM level, so there will be each and every TLF, they might required, we need to subset the data. So there each and every place we cannot derive the same information. That's why all the subject information we can put it into the ADSL. Okay, so that information how we are going to incorporate in the other ADAM data sets, and then how we are going to include use in the TLFs, that we'll discuss a bit later. So the required data set in a CDISC based submission. Okay, so whenever it's a CDISC based submission, which is nothing but if it's a CDISC standard study which is going for the regulatory submission, then the must and should your ADSL data should be present. Okay, the ADSL variables can be brought into the subsequent ADAM data sets to aid analysis. What I said, okay, from the ADSL, there are some core variable which we can keep it from the other ADAM data sets. Okay, so that also we can take it from the ADSL. The variables included depend on the specific nature of the disease and the content of the protocol. Okay, so the variables included, it depends on the specific nature and any particular thing which based on the specific trial, and then disease or it's a content of your protocol. So those also we can accommodate into ADSL. So now the identifiers and the demographic. What kind of identifier variable present in your ADSL, and then what kind of demographic variable present in your ADSL. Okay, why it is closed? Let me reopen. So what is the identifier variable, demographic variable present in your ADSL? We'll see. So the ADSL contains all demographic variable for the subject in one place. Okay. So all the demographic variable will go into the ADSL only from SDTM. So the identification variables allow information about the site subject to be collected. Okay. Obviously the how they can identify the subject in clinical trial based on the site and subject only, right? So that information we can accommodate. The grouping variables based on the demographic variables collected in the SDTM and ADAM. Okay, so the some kind of grouping variables. Okay, in ADAM level, we might create a grouping for your demographic. For example, your TLFs based on the age group. So there are few TLFs which we need to create based on your age group. For example, in your study, the age limitation would be 18 to 60, let's assume. Okay, this is the one of the inclusion criteria for your study. The age group will be 18 to 60 years. So now when it comes to the ADAM level and the TLF level, the TLFs is created based on the age group wise. For example, 18 to 30, 30 to 45, 45 to 60. These three groups are created in our analysis point of view. So then what we can do in SDTM